analyzing all this, and it makes no sense. So, like, what could have happened? I mean, all the votes that Mas could have received got to like 3% split between Mas and Andronico, who split off from Evo. They both went their own way. And so, how can you explain this? So, the only logical explanation, Chris, is that I mean, there had to be some type of agreement between Paz and Mas because there's way too much of a correlation.
Buy my novel, Escape from the Village, from major booksellers online. Go to escapevillage.com. Subscribe to the Substack. Go to fountainheadforum.substack.com. Support the forum. Go to buymeacoffee.com/fountainheadforum. Thank you. Welcome to the Party Pal. This is Fountainhead Forum 346. I'm talking to Marcos Quevedo. He's back for the second time. We're going to talk about the recent elections in Bolivia and maybe a little bit more about the overall South American political scene. I don't know. We'll talk much about Milei, but I think what happened in Bolivia could be called the Milei effect, uh,
Well,
because people all over South America are paying attention to this crazy Argentine president who's taking a chainsaw or trying to take a chainsaw to the whole government. So Marcos is in La Paz, the highest national capital in the world by elevation. But he's not high himself. But how are you, Marcos?
I'm 3,600 meters high. So, yeah, I feel good. I feel good. I'm used to it. I feel good already.
Yeah, and I'm currently sitting in Santiago, which is having some what you'd call real winter weather. It just got cool. I went out to this Indian food, and I'm gonna go work out, but it looks like there's gonna be snow showers tomorrow. But anyway, welcome to we are
Thank
South
you.
America in the winter. Yes.
Thank you,
So
Chris.
Marcos,
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me again, Chris. It was awesome to talk to you last time about Millet, and I'm sure we're gonna have a good chat
I
tonight
lo
as well.
Marcus, you speak English with almost no accent. I don't know, some people are very, I mean, are very hard accents. You almost, you almost sound like you're American. So you're one of the best South
Almost,
American guests I've
almost.
ever had. And this is a country, and I don't even know anybody who's ever. I'm not even sure if I know people who've even visited Bolivia. It just because it's so far out there. I think it's the poorest country in South America, right? Or is Paraguay poorer? But
Um, I think right now Venezuela takes the big lead
okay,
there. No, but after that, I
that's
think it's us and possibly Argentina's recovering. So we were ahead of Argentina for a while, but I mean, I think we're second or third place. Yeah, but we're around there.
yeah, it's definitely got its unique character to it. I would I really I mean next time I come down to Argentina, I really am setting my sights on take a visit to Bolivia, take a visit to Paraguay. Those are two countries that it's really not that easy to get a direct flights from the USA to those countries. So
There's not a lot of demand. So I mean, you're not going to find it
there's
a
not
whole
a lot of
bunch of
demand. That's
a whole
exactly, yeah.
bunch of offerings to go to Blue Paz or Santa Cruz.
Yeah, okay, well, okay, Marcus, so you had these elections on Sunday, and, can you tell us about maybe what led up to these elections, what caused happen? Because the, Evo Morales got thrown out and a lot of other things that could definitely be considered anti-socialist happened, maybe not necessarily pro-capitalist, but definitely anti-socialist.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, Chris, I'll be happy to tell you what happened in these elections because I mean, there's a very big red flag that happened in these elections, which I will tell you about in a little bit. But just to lead up to the whole election was, as everybody kind of knows already, Evo Morales was basically had to resign from the presidency in 2019 due to there was a fraud during the elections just the power shut down at night during the count of the votes, and when the system went back up, Evo Morales was ahead instead of the other guy that was running, who was also a socialist. I wasn't happy about the options there were to vote, but you had to vote for the lesser of two evils. So
I
the
guess it was like maybe a choice between Trotsky and Stalin, but yes,
exactly, yeah.
what
And
a little
all the people just everybody got pissed off, and we started marching in the streets and just paralyzed the whole country for like 30 days, and Evo had to just quit, and that led us to kinda like, there was legally, like, about 1 year or a little bit more than a year until the next elections that were coming up. So, the new president came in, Janine. We thought she was gonna be a big change, because she
Anyas,
wasn't.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Janine Áñez, she didn't
yeah.
really do
So
any different.
it's Janine Anyas. That's definitely I just yeah. So for people out there, that's Jeanine, and then Anyez is Anyez. So yeah,
Exactly. So, I mean, there wasn't a big change, she just resulted to be another kinda socialist, leader, you know? Nothing much changed. Taxes didn't go down. I mean, there wasn't really any big changes. I mean, in the beginning, there was like a little bit of light of hope, you know? She was kind of talking against Cuba and Venezuela, and we all liked that. But then it just ended up being the same. And then elections came up, and Evo's party, Mass, won again, which was with this candidate, Luis Arce. And they won by like a big difference. They won in the first round. They won by 56%.
oh yeah,
Which was,
arson,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, which was very shady because Evo didn't have that back. Like people didn't back him up so much. There are theories that people got scared because Evo, we know when he loses, he blocks roads, he doesn't let food get in. It's kind of like it gets a little Mad Max-ish, you know, because
yeah,
they block
Arce, yeah,
roads and everything.
Arce
Yeah,
is also then this party is the movement for socialism.
moving for socialism,
Yeah,
exactly. So they won, but it was basically a landslide. According to me, I don't think there were clean elections. Honestly, if you ask a lot of people, they weren't. But the economy was so bad, everybody was so drained from COVID and everything that people didn't really go out to protest or anything, right? So during Arce's government, during his spell here, um, things just went terrible. You know, he's just another socialist president who just started printing money like crazy and
yeah,
didn't lower taxes. And in fact, he increased all these import taxes, all the tariffs, you know, just to keep the big state that they like alive. You know, all these hundreds of thousands of public employees who are going to, in the end, guarantee their second term when they go to vote, right? Because I mean,
yeah,
that's the whole trick here. You have over
yeah,
600,000 employees, government employees, and plus 4 more people or 5 more people in their household who are gonna vote for them because they get paid really well. You're talking about 2,000,000 votes. That's already like
yeah.
20% of the whole entire voting
Yeah,
in Bolivia.
and this is a country that's what, still 10,000,000?
We're supposedly 12,000,000 now, but I mean,
Okay.
our
Yeah. Well, it's got a
only.
lot of land it's got a lot of land area, but not a lot of people.
No, exactly, yeah, we're only
Yeah,
8,000,000 people that vote. Supposedly, it's only 8,000,000 voters, so if you take into account 2,000,000 there or 1.5, you already have
yeah,
20% of the vote, you know?
yeah. Because
Alright, so
Arce got 3 point almost 3.4 million in the 2020 election. That was
yeah,
55.
exactly,
But
exactly.
Carlos Mesa, Luis Fernando Camacho, and some other guy with a Chinese name who got 1.5, so or a Korean name, I should say.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Chi Yoon-chung, yeah, I know that guy, yeah.
Yeah, a Korean name. Sorry.
Korean.
Sorry to my Korean friends. Yes, do not call Koreans Chinese.
Yeah, that's really offensive to them.
Yeah, that's that yeah, 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 they
Yeah,
yeah,
no, no, I don't know,
yeah,
it happens, man.
The Asians do not like one another. Yes,
Exactly,
but
exactly, man. Alright, so basically, Arce ran the country like any socialist would. He just, sent it to hell, you know, I mean, there's no dollars. The dollar crisis started about 3 years ago. We got all the people that had dollars in the bank accounts couldn't retreat the dollars all at once. Then they started lowering the thing. You could take out 1,000 once. They lowered it to 500, then like 300 per week, then 200 per month. And then like right now in Bolivia, if you have a debit card in your account, you can't buy anything online. You can't. There's no dollars to buy anything. Like you can't go to Amazon and buy something. You can't even buy a toothpick on Amazon. All they're letting you buy is like paid Netflix and like HBO Max and all those streaming services, you know, just to keep people chill down from the crisis that's going on. But you
yeah,
can't buy anything. You
you
can't even
you
pay a course.
you get the people keep the people entertained, but they can't buy stuff they actually need.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, the dollar went up. The dollar used to be at 7 bolivianos. Right now, it's actually at 14. but it went
And
all the way up to 20.
Boliviano is the name of the currency, just to clarify for
Exactly, yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, Boliviano is the name of our currency. $1 was equal to 7 Bolivianos all these years. And now with the dollar scarcity that there is now, the Boliviano went all the way up to 20 one time, and then went down now to 14, and it's just floating around 14, 13, you know? But you already opened the gates, to inflation, so the dollar's gonna be something unstable from now on, so everything's more expensive now, there's no money to pay gasoline, I mean, we gotta do lines for gasoline that take hours, like, I've done
Yes.
gasoline lines for 4 hours, 5 hours, you know, people stay the night over just to charge their tank, and it's really hectic, I mean, there's a lot of people having a really bad time because of this economy. People are suffering. And it's all because of this mismanagement, overspending from government, and there's no real opposition. So this is what is leading up to the election that happened this last Sunday. And so that's the situation basically that people had to choose. All right. So now I'm going to jump to the elections that we had last
Yeah.
Sunday, 4 days ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
there was definitely a I mean, it was kind of bouncing there for a while up and down, and
yeah.
then up until about especially really looks like just the last few months, the Boliviano has went way down against the dollar.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we lost basically, if you had Bolivianos in your account, they're worth half as much now, you know, compared to the dollar. Or more, man, you know?
Yeah.
So, basically, that's what led up to the elections, and, well, in the elections, the same guys came up all the time, right? You know, it was the same candidates from always. Everybody had, like, an expectation of, like, a Javier Milei to form during these years, but it didn't quite happen, you know? I think Milei is a very unique phenomenon, and it's not gonna be able to be replicated, you know? You need somebody original, somebody who's a libertarian, just wants to lower government, lower taxes, smaller government, and we didn't quite get that, you know? But like you said before, the Millet effect did impact everything because being a libertarian suddenly became cool, you know, because of Millet. And then you see all these left-wing guys that, were in the government before and, like, screaming, "Long live liberty, damn it," you know, the Millet's phrase, right?
Viva la libertad,
Yes.
carajo.
Exactly. And,
Yes, mhm.
yeah,
I
so,
the swear words in Bolivia might be different from Argentine swear words.
it's the same one here. I just didn't wanna get you in trouble in the stream, so
There's definitely go ahead, but there's definitely differences among the various Spanish-speaking countries. They're not all exactly the same, but
exactly, yeah, 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 there's a lot of differences. So basically, but what did happen is that people understood that big government is not good, and that's something that Milei really did for the whole region and the whole world, I think. And, the Bolivia situation was so bad, the spending was so bad, and the
mhm.
economy was so bad that, I mean, it's basically one of the best proofs that you have in the world right now that
Yes.
overspending is not good, and the way to get back in track is to reduce spending and reduce, personnel and, just reduce taxes and let the free market take over, you know? And that's kinda like what happened with all the candidates now, because these same candidates that participated in this election have participated in previous elections, and they never talked about reducing government, they never talked about lowering taxes. It all happened after the whole Milei effect. So people woke up to the whole big government's a scam, and now all these guys who are all like kind of left wing leaning guys who try to act like they're right wing, they all copy like, yeah, we're gonna reduce taxes, we're gonna take down spending, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna reduce the taxes and not intervene so much. It's all like they all copy those ideas. So I mean, I guess that's a good thing, because I mean, no candidate has spoken of not reducing costs. They're kind of like in checkmate because people are going to realize people already know that the government's spending way too much and they can't keep it up. So I mean, that's a victory for Millet and like libertarians all around the world. I'm happy about that. Even though like they're posers, it's still something that's going to help.
Yeah, and there were a lot of protests going on. I gotta give I gotta give people especially some of these really poor places in South America, they really are willing to get out and protest. I wonder if it's just because the people have so little that they just have nothing to lose. So they
Oh,
I mean, when you're poor, you don't have anything to lose, so you go and raise hell when you're not happy, it's just
that's the left wing strategy. That's the typical left wing strategy, and it even happens in the states if you think about it. Like I mean,
yeah, but I don't know. You see occasional traffic blockers, but they don't just try to shut down you don't really see any cases where literally society gets shut down. Uh,
like here, I mean, like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of poor people, indigenous people that get taken advantage of by
yeah.
Morales and his clan,
Yeah,
and
I've heard of happening places like in the Sacred Valley in Peru too. Yeah, there's the
yeah,
whole, and this is what Bolivia has that is much that Argentina doesn't really have. You have the divide between the indigenous and the non-indigenous. I mean, I think Bolivia has what 30 official languages or something like that.
yeah,
There's
something like
still
that.
very much a divide there, and I and you know,
No,
Peru,
like you said,
Peru has 80 or almost 90 languages in the whole country, although only a handful of them are official, but, it's,
yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah, but I mean, what I was telling you is that like these people, like you said, that they go march for they pay him like there was proof that they were paying these people 50 bolivianos to go march and raise hell, and 50 bolivianos wasn't even like $10. It was like $8 back then, and they were like
yeah.
giving up their lives for $8 to go throw stuff at policemen and burn stuff in the street and block the streets, and they do it.
So they're not just
Actually,
protesting, they're actually rioting. I mean,
they're
there
rioting.
is a difference, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're throwing stuff at cops, you're right, you're not yeah, you're throwing stuff, as Rudy Giuliani would say, if you throw a rock, that's no longer a protest, or
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
if you're throwing hard objects,
Hmm.
I wouldn't say throwing balloons or throwing confetti would necessarily, cause a riot, but if you're throwing solid objects that break glass or hurt people, yeah, then it goes to the riot.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so that was a strategy, and so all right, so so all these candidates adopted these kind of like libertarian views of reducing government, and in the end, there were like four main players in these elections. All right, so it was basically Jorge Quiroga, what is it? They call him Tudo Quiroga.
Jorge Quiroga, yes,
Jorge
that's
Quiroga, yeah,
Quiroga for people out there, yes.
exactly, and I'm using an American accent to not confuse you. So it's
Yeah,
Tuto Quiroga,
this is the Freedom and Democracy Party, or Libre, which in their case is
exactly.
which usually doesn't mean freedom or democracy, but anyway.
Exactly. Then there was, Samuel Doria Medina, who was a businessman here. He's been in politics before. And this guy is the vice president of the International Socialists in in Latin America.
Oh,
So, I mean
yes, look, the silver spoon socialists, oh, I love them, or
exactly, exactly.
the limousine lefties, oh, yeah, they're my favorite.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I'm joking, yeah, these people who got rich and then still wanna
We know those. Yeah,
yeah, oh god, we have them in America, and they're so insufferable. Oh, they're the
yeah,
worst because they have money,
exactly.
and in some cases too, they didn't necessarily make the money, like Steve Jobs' widow, but anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And, then there was so there was the 2 main guys that were leading all the polls. And there was a Manfred who was, he's the mayor of Cochabamba, who also was polling very high at the beginning.
Manfred, yes. Manfred Reyes Villa,
Reyes
yes.
Villa, exactly,
Some of these people got really long names, like, and from Cochabamba, yes, when I
exactly.
heard that, I said, "That's not Spanish, that's Quechua." Yes, it is, it's Quechua. Cochabamba, one of the greatest
Cochabamba,
city names anywhere, but I like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, yes.
And
He's got a big mustache on him.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Thanks.
that's his typical look, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And after Manfred, there was, Andronico, who was Evo Morales' kinda like protege, from
Androni
Cochabamba.
Rodriguez, yes. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, Evo's
He
protege. Oh my
exactly.
goodness.
And he was the head of the Senate, through all these years.
And he's a young
And
guy,
he's younger, yeah, he's like, how old is this guy? He's,
1988. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, he's like, 36, I guess,
36. Oh,
around there.
geez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, so alright, so those are the kind of the main 4 guys who were polling high. but there was another player who was the ex-mayor of Tarija, right? Tarija, and, his name was Rodrigo Paz, right?
Rodrigo Paz, yes.
He's the son of an ex-president.
The
Yeah,
son of
he's
an ex-president, yes.
ex-president of Bolivia, Jaime Paz, right? And this guy was pulling around like 4%, 5%, and the max I think he got was 9%, all right? So in all these polls that came out, from different channels and different sources, it was always like, Tuto Quiroga and some other Medina were leading. We're always leading by a way lot. They were like 30 something, 31 to 29, like 28 to 29, And they were like, "Yeah, we should." They made a coalition that the one who was scoring lowest would renounce to his presidential race and join the other guy and give his support to them just to get rid of Mas and Evo Morales, which all turned out to be a whole bunch of BS, 'Cause and
Yeah.
I knew it from the beginning, from day one. I read that news and I just laughed, dude. Because I mean, these guys are politicians. They're never gonna give up their pursuit for the power.
Yeah.
So, that never happened, and, after that, so the last poll came out, and Doria Medina was leading all the polls by, like, 1%, 1.5% to Quiroga. So, eh I mean, everybody was like, "Yeah, okay, we're gonna vote for these 2, we're gonna get rid of Mas, and, we're all gonna live happily together," "We got rid of Mas, and we got rid of the nightmare's over. No more socialism." Which is I mean, there's a lot of people who really don't understand the problem. The bottom problem isn't really Mas, Mas is just another clan of politicians, left-wing politicians who want power, whatever, there's a bunch of those everywhere around the world. The problem is not really Mas, the problem is socialism. It's just the big government that Bolivia has, the big taxes, the big tariffs, big everything. I mean, overspending. I mean, it's just getting more in debt, printing money. It's horrible, dude, alright? The situation is just bad, and people think that just putting a white guy in power, everything's good, and it's not gonna change anything. So, everyone was happy that these 2 guys were polling. So, I mean, as a libertarian, I was like, "I don't like any of them, honestly. I think they're all terrible. They all have terrible plans, and nothing's gonna change. I know it." But a lot of people from all social classes, Chris. I mean, I'm not talking about the poor people that just maybe someone's ignorant and poor and doesn't hasn't an
Mhm.
education and just votes on the color of the skin. I'm talking about people like friends of mine and people I know and all different social classes and different colors of skin, whatever. They just don't understand that the base problem is just socialism and overspending, and they just think that everything's gonna get better by choosing a guy that looks like them. But all right, far away from that. Uh, Election day comes, all right? We go to vote, all right? Everybody votes. There's a big sentiment that Mas is going to be beaten, and effectively, it does get beaten, all right? Because the elections come out, and to everyone's surprise, Rodrigo Paz, the guy that was had 9% in the last, and who couldn't get over 9% in the last
Yes.
poll, ends up winning the first election. Ends up winning the election with 32%.
Yeah, 32%. Yeah, this is a yeah, and
And
Quiroga got
Quiroga
26.7, yeah.
exactly, yeah, and Samuel got 20%, which
He
and Andronico, Evo's right guy, handman, got 8.5%, and Manfred got 6, and the rest of the guys just got 3 and 1 and whatever. So,
yes.
and Mas, Evo Morales' party, political party, got 3%, and they
Oh,
saved
yeah.
their political party from being, evaporated for not getting more than 3%. Because if you get 3%, you're okay. If you score less than 3%, your party just dissolves by law.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah,
Dissolved by law, yeah, that so they
yeah,
hung on. Who knows, maybe they you talked about election shenanigans, maybe they just threw in enough votes so they could stay alive. Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah,
so so
which
this
would
is
be
what
ironic. And nobody really care. I mean, nobody's gonna really care. Well, they got 2% or 4%, they still,
yeah, but this is where, like, stuff gets kinda Twilight Zone-ish and, like, really conspiracy theorists and, like I mean, it's not conspiracy theorists, but I mean, things get really weird, man. This is where things get weird. Okay, so the guy number 1 all the polls show that Samuel Doria Medina was leading in the chart in the polls. So what does this mean? He got accused of bribing some the polling companies to appear first because he never had any like real he never got any real support from the population. He has no charisma. Everybody sees him for what he is. I mean, he's not a charismatic guy. He's not like a nice guy. Uh, he's really fake. According to me, he's just a completely fake guy, dude. And that's why he never got anywhere in politics here. He was never able to win really himself, right? So he ends up getting he always polled at like 30%, and now he doesn't make it, he doesn't even get to 20%. So what does that mean? He was buying polls. He was paying money for polls. So I mean that's a theory that actually makes sense, you know? So Trudeau ends up with 26% and Rodrigo Paz ends up with 32. Nobody saw this coming. Like absolutely nobody, no political pundit even mentioned this, dude. Nothing at all. And it raised a lot of doubts. So when this happened, I started talking to my friends, Alvaro. By the way, he says sorry for not answering. He's going to get back to you pretty soon. He was really busy. Alvaro, Chipana, and all the people at Avanza Libertad, who's our political team here. We
Yes.
started analyzing all this, and it makes no sense. So, like, what could have happened? I mean, all the votes that Mas could have received got to like 3%, split between Mas and Andronico, who split off from Evo. They both went their own way. And so, how can you explain this? So, the only logical explanation, Chris, is that I mean, there had to be some type of agreement between Paz and Mas because there's way too much of a correlation. Like, I'm gonna go point by point why we think this, right? First of all,
Yeah, Paz and Mas is
Evo Morales is a group.
yeah.
So it's the
Wait,
hardcore
wait,
left.
Movimiento al Socialismo.
Yeah, movement to socialism. Exactly. They've been in power for the last 20 years here. So that's the whole problem. So that's kind of what people want to get rid of. So what happened now? Basically, all those votes, uh, according to us, went to pass. Why? Because I mean, there are theories that there is an agreement between both of them, both parties. This candidate and Mas. But what points to this? There's some big factors that point to this theory. Like, let's start with the first one: the voting patterns. All right, there are cities like Cochabamba where Chapar is at. Chapar is located inside Cochabamba, and Evo Morales always had a pretty big percentage vote in Cochabamba. All right. This also happened in Oruro, which is a very mining heavy city.
Maruru. So,
Oruro, Oruro, where the carnival is held, where the famous carnival of Oruro is held.
oh, I didn't know it was a famous carnival, but anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to come here one day.
Hey, there's lots of stuff. There's so much, I've also heard I should spend Christmas in South America. Just be really a lot of fun. But anyway, because it's hey, poor people know how to party. They really do.
Oh yeah,
They know how to party cheap too. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah. Definitely. So, all right, so the voting patterns, the voting patterns are really off, especially in that city, especially in La Paz, because La Paz always had a hard vote for Mas because there was a lot of public employees. I mean,
yeah. That's yeah. National capitals always tend to vote socialist because you got so many government employees living there. That's just about anywhere.
exactly, all the ministries are here, all the public companies headquarters are here. So I mean, Evo always tended to win in La Paz. So what happened now? Who appears first in these three cities now? It's Rodrigo Paz, and and by big numbers. I mean, you're talking
Yeah,
about in La Paz, Rodrigo got nearly 47% of all the votes. 47. That's insane, dude.
yeah. And Paz is with the Christian Democratic Party, which hard to say what that would be. That's
It's a pretty popular party, but they got paused because every political party ends up getting whoever is going to get them at least 3%, so they don't lose legal, their legal
Well, like
name, they told you?
there have been a lot of, parties that call themselves Christian Democrats or Catholic Democrats, and it's hard to
Yeah.
say where they fall. That obviously they're somewhat religious. They don't necessarily they're not hard-headed Marxists, but they're more, the democratic socialist types who might say, "Well, yeah, the government should help poor people a little bit and
Mm.
maybe not, completely own their lives, but they're still, maybe in favor of some of these safety nets and maybe even socialized medicine, although they're definitely not totalitarians."
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, yeah, I mean,
So, like Sweden or Norway, is what they want.
they're left wing. For me, they're left wing. So, I mean, going back to the thing.
Scandinavia is actually a very apt comparison because those are countries with about the same, well, a little smaller, but the population's about around the same,
Mhm.
even though it's obviously very different countries in almost every
Yeah,
other way. But
yeah, totally.
Scandinavian style of socialism is probably one of the more functional forms of socialism in the world. There are some that are worse than others, but they say it doesn't seem there's not strong libertarian movements in Scandinavia, I think because they're not totally incompetent like there is in so many other places. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. This is so far, so far.
yeah,
So I was going back. I mean, Rodrigo Paz. So what happens in elections? Rodrigo gets 47% of La Paz, which was it's kind of like it's something of a miracle. I mean, it's not something that like even Evo Morales in his prime would have like not got that many votes, man, or maybe him in his prime, but not somebody who's pulling 9%, who didn't have any backing. I mean, you would see his political campaigns on the street. It was minimal, dude. I mean, I saw like one poster. Well, there were like 100 posters of Samuel Medina and like 100 posters of Tuto Quiroga. I mean, it didn't make sense, right? And in Cochabamba, which is where the Chapar is, where Evo always had and Mas always had a hard vote, he gets nearly 30% of the votes. And
yes.
in Potosi, which is a big mining
Is that
department in
is
Bolivia.
that Potosi?
Exactly, yeah,
Potosi, yeah,
Potosi, yeah,
Potosi,
known for mining.
yeah, yeah.
He gets
Is that mostly copper mining or?
copper, silver, and zinc.
Oh wow, yeah. That's kind of on the edge of the mountains too.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
There's a lot of. I know there's a lot of mineral resources down there too.
yeah.
Yeah, copper mining and zinc. Yeah,
So in that town, which also Mas had a good stronghold in, he gets 45% of the vote. And
yeah,
in Oruro, the city I told you, which was very pro Evo, always Mas always won there. The Movement for Socialism always won there. He gets 46%. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these numbers are ridiculous, dude. I
yeah.
mean, it's like you really gotta be naive to believe this is like clean
It
votes,
seems like a lot of the socialists. You're basically saying that a lot of the socialists were voting for Rodrigo Paz. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna get to that.
he kind
I
of
think
looks like he kind of looks like Michael Malice here if you see him too.
he looks like Mr. Bean.
Yeah, it's kind of eerie, but yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Bean. Yeah,
So I mean, I just want to compare this to you. Like, I mean, imagine like Wyoming all of a sudden, dude, sorry, word, turned blue.
yes, yes.
I mean, imagine Massachusetts turned like red, a Republican. This is like what we're talking about. This is like I don't know. It's just they're really anomalies, dude. I mean,
I mean, Marcus, it took 40 years, but it took about 30 years, but I saw my home state of West Virginia go from being about as blue as it could be to about as red as it can be. I never would have imagined that happening when I was
uh,
starting to vote.
yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah. I'm seeing this example just to compare. So I mean, it's and it's not like that Mas was dead. I mean, there's a lot of public employees. I mean, they do still have that 20% of vote. So if I do the math and I add his 9% with the 20% of the public votes, which are there are rumors already that people in the public services were 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 told to vote for Rodrigo Paz and not Mas, not their own party, but Rodrigo Paz. It makes sense that 30% makes sense. That 32% makes sense. There's some talk about possible fraud, that some of there was some tampering of the elections also. There's a lot of theories floating around that make a lot of sense. And the weird thing about this is that once Rodrigo wins the first election, uh, 2 days later, 1 day later, Evo Morales, who's just trapped in Chaparro, he can't leave there because he's got orders to be caught and arrested. He's just leaving.
Yeah, yeah, I love that's one thing I love about South America. If you're a president, a few years later, you might get arrested. Yes.
Dude, this is no, but Chris, this is
Yeah,
Pablo Escobar stuff.
yeah.
This is Pablo Escobar stuff. I mean, he's got his own little village, and the police and the military can't get in there because he's so well guarded. They got better
He's
guns
got
than.
that much money then is what you're saying? Because Pablo Escobar was arguably the richest drug dealer ever. I don't think they really know how wealthy he
No,
was.
exactly.
Talking billions.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's got billions, but I mean, he's highly protected by his people. The
Yeah.
whole
Has he brought hippopotamuses in? That's what Pablo Escobar did,
he's
wanted to
probably
have
got
his
white tigers.
have his own little hippopotamuses is.
Yeah,
As much as I'm a libertarian, I'm just like, "Why the hell are you doing this? These animals have never lived in South America. Why are you
exactly.
bringing them here?" Same
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
with the
exactly.
tiger,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, get his own Siegfried and Roy white tiger.
His own little mini zoo. It's yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I mean,
But Colombia sterilized those hippopotamuses, by the way. They did not go out and kill them, but they sterilized them, so they'll eventually die out, and Colombia will again be hippo free. So, yeah.
all right, all right.
Yeah. So
Well, I mean, but Evo Morales is basically he's being wanted by the law for a long time. Nobody goes to tries to go catch him or send anyone to catch him. So he's heavily fortified. It's
yeah,
like Pablo is. I mean, this is really happening. It sounds like
yeah,
a movie, but it's really
and the
happening.
socialists and the socialists and the drug cartels are really they like to work together in South America. They really
Oh
do.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, politics is so much more interesting in South America. It really is. Yeah, you have it connected with organized crime, and people know about it. Here, it's still
exactly.
secret, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So so what happens? Rodrigo Paz wins, and the day later, 2 days later, Evo Morales comes out after being like saying all these right wingers, I'm never gonna, we're gonna cause turmoil, we're gonna block the roads if the right winger comes out, talking about Doria Medina and Quiroga, and he congratulates Paz. He congratulates Rodrigo Paz and says, "Hey man, let's work together to bring so that all the wounds in Bolivia can heal, and let's work together." And that's like how does how did you do a 180 so quickly? It makes no sense, right? And so that's one big red. That was the second big red flag. All right, that's number two. All right, and another one. Today, the vice president that ran with Rodrigo Paz was an ex-police captain who got famous for denouncing corruption, and he's been accused of being in corruption as well. Uh, Met up with sectors of Evo's old party to reconcile with them, to work together with them. And they're all hardcore left wings. They're all hardcore indigenous left wing people who are not going to change they have no clue how to run the country, no clue about economics. They have no idea. All they know is just getting in a position of power, getting their
Yes.
mega salaries, and just voting for dumb stuff.
Yes, and it also looks like Morales has been, got at least been accused of messing around with, younger women.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely, yeah.
which,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
that was the third that was the third red flag, Chris. The fourth red flag is the one of the heads of the Democratic Christian Party that Rodrigo Paz ran with came out and denounced that the people he put up in this for senators and for deputies, they're 70% are all ex movement to socialism people. All ex supposedly ex workers of Evo Morales. So I mean, it's just the 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 writing's on the wall, dude. I mean, it's so obvious. It is stupidly obvious, man. I mean, you'd have to be very naive to not understand what happened. And what happened is that Mas knew that they had run the country so bad, they sent it to hell, that Luis Arce's presidency was so bad, nobody was ever going to vote for him. That's the reason why he didn't even run for a second term because he
Yes.
did it so bad.
The same
So
way that Alberto Fernandez didn't run in Argentina.
exactly, exactly. They did it so bad that they will lose. So what I do now, they did a type of rebranding through Rodrigo Paz, who had no chance to win the elections. He had no chance, Chris, 0 chance. And now he got a 30%. He won the elections. He beat the Quiroga and guy who was
Now
probably the
now
guy.
there is going to be a runoff, I guess,
Yeah, there is gonna be a second round on October 19th between Paz and Quiroga. But here's
and
the problem.
what are the and so who yeah,
Alright, so
okay.
here's the problem. Between the Andronico people and the Mas people now that are left over, Andronico got 8% and Mas got 3%. There's 11% of the votes that are gonna vote now for Paz now, alright? So let's just say that Quiroga and Paz are tied at 30%. 30% here. So Mas votes are gonna come in for Paz because they already negotiated that, and that's part of the plan. So they're up to 40 right now. Let's say Quiroga gets the Manfred votes. Let's say he gets the Manfred votes, which I doubt, but he'll be like at 38, right? And then worst part is that when the results come out, Samuel Doria Medina, the vice president of the international left in Latin America, comes out and says, "Oh yeah, I promised I was going to help the guy who was first, so I'm going to give my votes, all my votes, and ask all my followers to vote for Paz." So that's 20% that Samuel
Yeah.
Doria. If all the people listen to him, that's another 20%.
Yeah, that's what often happens is the person in 3rd place ends up being somewhat of a kingmaker.
Exactly, yeah, totally. So, I mean, and, Dormin is like, I mean, I believe he's been in bed with Mas all these years, even though he's always appeared to be like, an opposition guy. It's BS, man. He's gonna give his votes to Paz, and Paz is gonna win that election with around 60% of the votes, and it's over, dude, no.
That's the unit, the Bloque de Unidad or the Unity Block
Exactly,
is
yeah, the supposed unity supposedly the unity block, but
yeah.
and, right now that we're there, and and I think it's almost a guarantee that Paz is gonna win that election because it's all been planned. It's all been really well planned, and it's just a rebranding of Mas right now. That 20% that they have in power, that 20 or 30% that they always had that they never lost, I'd say it's a 30%. It's all going to Paz, and that's why Paz won this one, and that's why he's gonna win the next election, I think. Unless something really crazy happens and people wake up and just see it for what it really is. But people are really emotional right now, and they're happy that Mas didn't win, and that's enough for them. That's the sad part. It's enough that Mas didn't win. They're happy with that. And they don't
But
they don't wanna argue anything. They don't wanna look into any weird ideas like the ones I'm throwing around. They don't wanna look into anything because they just got rid of Mas and now they're happy. But nothing's gonna change. That's the
I
sad
mean,
truth,
you
you
know, I
know?
mean, they didn't get yeah, and we don't know you don't really know anything about how Paz what Paz really ideologically believes.
He's left wing. He's left wing.
I mean, anything in particular that he's supported in the past, but
Uh, his dad
pol
is
so many politicians, I just realized they just don't have any solid beliefs. They just
uh, I'll tell you this, his dad's, political party, his father's
yeah,
political party is called MIR. It's called Movimiento Izquierdista Revolucionario.
Jaime Paz Zamora, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he's still
that
alive.
that translates to the left revolutionary movement, all right? Left-wing revolutionary movement. That's what his father's, political party was named, all right? Second of all, he was a terrible mayor in Tarija, in his home city. Everybody kinda hates him there. He only got 20% of the vote there this last time. He's got a lot of trials on him for corruption and, like, mismanagement and all that stuff. So, I mean, all those things are gonna go away once he's president, of course. But, I mean, he's not been a good manager with that stuff. He hasn't managed well his city. His ideas are kinda like he did steal some stuff from the libertarians, like, he wants to reduce taxes, reduce the tariffs. But, I mean, it's, it's stuff that's not gonna happen because you can't really change much of this stuff without opening up the Constitution and modifying it. Because Evo Morales modified the Constitution in 2009 with the help of Tuto Quiroga and Samuel Medina, who are now running as opposition. So I mean, all these guys were in bed together at some point. You know what I'm talking about? It's horrible, and we got to
Yes.
choose between these guys. So I mean, they're not real. They're not real plans for the country. There's no real plan. There's nothing real or concrete that's going to change and bring investments here and legal security. It's just not going to work. You know?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I really because I really you know, because you pointed out Bolivia has a lot of resources. It's rather you wonder why they don't do some although although one thing I've seen just there's not a whole lot of infrastructure there. I mean, I mean, when you get to some of these poor countries, you do it's hard to find paved roads and stuff like that,
Mhm.
or not to mention railroads. And when you don't have good transportation, good infrastructure, it's just harder to do everything.
Yeah,
But you've got you talked about the mining and all that stuff. It seems like to me Bolivia could certainly be doing better than it has been. It's never really done that well. So
yeah. It's just it's got a lot of potential. You know, I mean, there's a city in Bolivia that's called El Alto. It's part of La Paz. It's
yeah,
like half an hour away from where I am.
yeah.
It's a little bit higher in mountains. But I mean, that's probably the most libertarian city, you know, there is in the world because I mean, it's like there's hardly any government intervention. There's hardly anyone paying taxes. It's the city's about 40 years old right now, I think, or 45. That's all. That's how old it is. It's brand new city. It's not the prettiest city in the world. It's not the most advanced city in the world, but I mean, what they have achieved in such little time without so much government intervention is amazing. It really is amazing. I mean, it's a beautiful city that got. I mean, the story of El Alto is beautiful. I mean, there's no regulation. There's no. I mean, there is regulation, but no one follows it.
How
No.
do you spell that town?
EL space ALTO.
El Alto. Oh, the high.
Alto.
Yes.
Yeah. And, it's got about I think it's around 2,000,000 people living there, you know, and it's the economy the informal economy is huge. If you wanna buy something cheap, you go there, you know, without paying taxes and stuff. It's as a
Yeah.
libertarian, it brings a tear to your eye, you know? It's like the it's
885,000 according to, Wikipedia. Also, geez, 4,150 meters, 13,620 feet. Man,
that is pretty high. Yeah.
that is up there, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That
But I mean
I tell you what, that's for a lot of people, that's just a deal breaker living there just because it's so high.
yeah, 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 but, as a libertarian dude, I think you will really like the city. It's like I told you, it's not the most gorgeous place, but I mean, when you see libertarian, like free market operate for real there, you know?
Oh, yeah, you and
It's
some
a
of
re
these cities, they just get left alone, they really can't operate as free market, I
exactly, yeah, yeah, and they're living proof that you can do stuff. You can have a civilized society, just growing one step at a time, you know? You're not gonna have fancy towers and, beautiful gardens everywhere, but I mean, you're eventually gonna get there, you know? If they just leave you alone.
One thing I've noticed in America, there's kinda you'll see this big city and then just out and then maybe, like, in the next county, there'll be a county that's really not socialist at all.
Uh-huh.
It's like they all fled and went there.
Mhm.
It sounds like to me this might be a case like that with El
Yeah,
Alto.
yeah, 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 definitely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah, I
You
mean,
still have to
so,
fly into
so
La Paz Airport to get there, I suppose, 'cause
yeah, so I guess my point there was that, I mean, Bolivians, we like to work. We're very anarcho-capitalists by nature, you know? All the formal like 85% of the market is informal, you know? So, I mean,
I yeah, I often say this too, Marcus, just because of where I was born and raised. Everywhere you go, the toughest people anywhere are the mountain people.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and my theory on this is it's rather naive, but it's because whereas in some places, everybody's always walking on flat land and flat ground. In the mountains, everybody's always walking up or down.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
walking up takes a lot more strength, but walking down, yeah, I mean, where you're walking down, you also have to maintain your balance and not fall. It's just so
Harsh conditions, make strong men, you know?
Well,
and that,
especially when you're growing up in that, it just makes you tougher kids. It just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, I mean, my grandfather would cut the grass with a push mower on a hillside that was like this,
uh-huh,
you know, with a put yeah, it's and, he did that he even did that the day before he died. I mean, well, he died
mhm,
at night. He cut the grass on that day, on
yeah,
that 1 acre, land that was maybe the size of a gridiron football field, and he cut the grass. Just,
yeah,
you know, he was tough as guy never went to the gym or worked out. He just worked because it does really bring something out in people,
exactly,
and
exactly.
whether it be in the Caucasus region, the Appalachians, or Montana in the US, or it's the same where it's the same.
Yeah, yeah,
And
definitely, definitely,
maybe just learn to be tougher because you don't have so much oxygen too, but
exactly, yeah, yeah, definitely. But I mean, yeah, yeah. So that's kind of where I was going with that. I mean, it's we're a very informal country, and the
yeah.
big government does not let you work well. It's just too much bureaucracy. I mean, it really is a lot of bureaucracy, man. I mean, one would
Yeah.
think that in Bolivia, I mean, things would be more chill and like there's not so much of a big government and so much control, but it's insane, dude. It really is insane. It's
Well,
just way
there's always just this growth of the whole informal economy where everybody just does it, just does it.
and the problem is that all the politicians, like literally all the politicians, dude, that participate in these elections, no, there's not one that's like has who's truly like a libertarian or right wing guy who's gonna put order. It's just nobody, dude. No, like, it's just maybe it makes you think sometimes that we're just not ready for that yet. I mean, it's just I don't know.
El also has its own airport, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the main airport for La Paz. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that I don't know.
El Alto Airport. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the story about the presidential election 4 days ago,
LTV.
and
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any questions. According to me, it's all a big scam. I really think it's a big scam, and I think as Bolivians, we're pretty screwed here with that because I don't think the propositions that this candidate is doing is going to solve anything at all. So I don't know.
Well, well, it's a runoff, so it could certainly go either way. I mean, Quiroga could win, but it doesn't
Yeah,
sound like
and the thing is that like even if Quiroga wins, I'm not even certain he would even fix the situation. The situation is just that complicated. There's no investing in Bolivia. Nobody wants to invest money. There's no dollars coming in. They want to regulate the sales of all the exports. They want to force people to bring their money here and lose the value with the parallel dollar. They want people to get paid in the dollar, in the official dollar, and not in the blue dollar. I mean, it's terrible, dude. I mean, somebody has to come in and just free everything. Let's hope whoever wins does that. But by the way I see it, by the way it's going, I don't think that change is going to be happening because it's the same people of Mas who rebranded themselves through Rodrigo Paz, and now it's gonna be the same thing just with a white guy running, you know? That's it.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a rather well, it's hard to say. Is anything developed on the legislative front? I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, there's still very much the divide too between the indigenous and the descendants of Europeans. I mean, I don't know how that plays out in the elections, but I suppose it seems unfortunate too that the indigenous often do go for the socialists more often just because they promise them things and because there's all this inequality that
But
oh, well,
there's really not an equality, man, because I'm telling you, the richest people in Salto are millionaires, millionaires who are indigenous people look indigenous. They're indigenous
oh, yeah.
millionaires, multimillionaires, man, you know? And, like, I mean, it's just this racial division that Mas created is like, yeah, all the Indians are the oppressed guys, and all these white
Yeah.
guys oppressed you for all these years, so vote for me. And they
Well,
started voting, you know?
I don't know that much about Bolivian history, but I know in Peru, they de the definitely do not treat the indigenous very well, and not protecting them from bad actors, and exploiting, taking stuff out of the rainforest and, they'll drill for oil, but then they'll pollute the water there so the people can't drink the water anymore. It's, just
Yeah, that happens worldwide. I mean, I think that's something very
it's
common that happens everywhere. But I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
Bolivia is not the rainforest, but it's, but it's certainly got, a lot of there's a lot of it's more like the Quechua, but or
yeah,
more like the Quechua speaking people, which is, people may not realize it, but the third most common language in South America, there's Portuguese, there's Spanish, and the third is Quechua. It's
I was not aware of that. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it's the most common indigenous language and most spoken indigenous language in the Western Hemisphere. I think it's 7 or 8 million
Mm,
people.
yeah,
So
probably.
it's
So I mean,
oh,
that's the situation right now. Basically on October 19th, we got the second round. It's going to be between Rodrigo Paz and Tuto Quiroga.
yeah,
And, it's almost guaranteed that Rodrigo Paz is gonna win unless some miracle happens that he gets exposed for everything he's doing right now and just people wake up. But I
yeah,
mean, by the way I see it right now, people are not gonna wake up. They're happy with what happened, and they just wanna celebrate this little victory of getting someone who's not from us in the power without realizing that it's the exact same people who are gonna be behind them, and it's gonna be the exact same story, so
and
oh well.
Quiroga was president for a short period and
Yeah,
was
but he
during the
wasn't elected. He took over when President, Hugo Banzer died. He was the vice president. He took over when the president died.
Hugo Banzer, yes, yeah.
Yeah, and
Well, it just
he tried running, many times before, and he never made it. So, I mean, this was his biggest, like, his closest run to the presidency now.
and it looks like Banzer is a very interesting character, it looks like,
Yeah, he was like he was Pinochet's, great buddy. They're kinda like the same line. Anti-communist, but, I mean, I think Pinochet was more right wing than Banzer, honestly.
yeah, yes, there's just so little we just don't hear that much about Bolivia, so it's just always an interesting but the presidency of Quiroga, back in the past might give you some indicator of what he will be like in his later years, yes, the
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the situation right now, Chris, I mean, I don't know if you had any
well
questions, I mean,
well, we thought this might be the Malay effect, but who knows it it is there really isn't a libertarian party in Bolivia at all, and I don't really know of any intellectuals are there either, although they could certainly follow the intellectuals that are elsewhere. I
yeah, I mean, there's no, like, big name here, but I mean, there were a couple guys that wanted to take over the libertarian mantle, but I mean, it's just really it's gonna catch on eventually in Bolivia, but I don't think we're there yet, you know?
Well, a lot of these intellectuals have been laying the groundwork for 50 or 80 years in Argentina. You just didn't realize it until suddenly this happened.
Yeah,
So I don't know if and certainly, I mean, I've noticed that the South American countries pay a lot of attention to each other, at, at least more say than we do up in North America.
mhm,
I mean, Americans pay a little attention to Canadian politics. Canadians pay a little attention to American politics, but it seems like there's more of that going on down there. And of course, everybody speaks the same language, so it's not that hard.
yeah.
Uh, with me, yeah. So certainly, some of the people who have the same intellectuals could be influencing people in other countries in South America, like Chile. I mean,
I
certainly
I
Chile.
I think
Is-
I think I think Malay inspired dude, I mean, even Europeans, man. He really is an anomaly.
If Europeans can be inspired at all, but yeah, that's
Yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah.
yeah, Europeans just seem like they've had the entire. It's really very tragic.
Their identity's gone, dude. They lost their identity. I mean, the UK is just I'm seeing some patriotism rise again. They're hanging the
I should say the Western Europeans too. The
yeah,
people
yeah,
who used to live under the Warsaw Pact are much better off now, or at least
like
I'm better
Poland,
off in the sense that I think they still have some spirit left and still have some desire to.
Eastern Europeans. Yeah, definitely
Well, Marcus, one of them corrected me, says I'm not Eastern Europe, I'm Central Europe. But yes,
Central European. All right.
yeah, they, but
Yeah, man.
because really, strictly speaking, Eastern Europe is Russia. But
Yeah, you're talking about yeah, like Lithuania, all those countries. I think that they're pretty conservative still. They're pretty right wing. Like Poland's pretty right wing.
my theory on them has always been that the fact that they had communism shoved down their throats for 44 years and didn't want it naturally by a foreign power, so that naturally repulsed them. I mean, in some of those countries, the hammer and sickle is illegal. I mean, if
Mhm.
you can be arrested if you post it
Yeah,
or even draw it somewhere. I don't agree with that, but I can understand why. So it's and so
yeah.
that somewhat, but even the Central European countries seem like they're having declining birth rates and stuff like that. As far as I know, Bolivia, for example, is one of the few countries that's still over 2.0.
I haven't looked into that, but I mean, if you have that info, that'd be interesting, man. Europe is yeah, European birth rates are down, dude. I mean, and all the immigration that came into Europe from the Middle East and Africa, they're doing the 4 or 5 babies per household. So I mean, I don't know how long Europe's gonna hold up with that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what Europe is gonna be. It's just it's so.
They're gonna lose their identity. I mean, I have friends that, go to France and live in France, and France, like it's like Trump said, Paris is no longer Paris, you know? It's sad, you know?
Okay, yeah, according to this, well, at least according to this, Bolivia was 2.55, 2.5. Yeah, so that's still a I think that to me is a healthy birth rate. I mean, if you wanna maintain your population and still, I mean, obviously, you still have to have that to have kids, and it looks like to me, Paraguay is 2.4, 2, but sadly, even a lot of South America is going down below. It really is a.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a Western economic phenomenon that stops people from having more kids. Well, it really is socialism, you know? Socialism
I think it
complicates
is.
everything, makes everything expensive, so it makes more kids, harder to plan out, you know?
Well, it's also socialism in the name of feminism, which is also just, totally wants to destroy the family. They don't.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, definitely. Feminism is yeah, that's the root of all evil, man.
You all are still way, and that's the thing, you all are still way behind in all that and that kinda nonsense.
Yeah, but, I mean,
So,
this is what I said before, and I always say this, whatever happens in the US is always a prequel to whatever's gonna happen in South America, and that always happens even in Bolivia.
I've heard. I wonder if that's the case too, and it seems like it's already happening somewhat to Mexico.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, man.
The most amazing example is South Korea, 7.75, and believe it or not, Puerto Rico is 0.94, and Ukraine is 1, Singapore is 0.96, although
And India is
Taiwan is
5.
0.86. It's just what?
What's India's score?
Who's score? India?
India.
I'm not sure what. 1.94.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be higher.
You still have an imbalance too. It's like some of the more rural areas had a lot more kids. Uh,
Oh, definitely, definitely, yeah.
Israel is still 2.75,
Mhm.
and
That's pretty high.
that's largely due to the more conservative Jews who are having big families. I mean, the
Well,
really conservative,
they
the
got a
ones
bit they
who
got a
wear black hats and have beards,
yeah,
you
well,
know?
in Israel, they got a lot of, what do you call this? The safety net, the, free government programs, free education, free universities.
It's hard to say what, there's a lot of factors that go into this, but yeah,
It's a big welfare state in Israel.
yeah, which doesn't necessarily guarantee a lot of kids though, because
Yeah. All financed by you, by your tax dollars.
yeah, we finance we America finances a lot of the well. They've helped
Yeah,
keep alive most of the welfare states in Europe too, because they take care of their defense and their military.
exactly, yeah,
But
yeah.
the world overall though is down to like 2.24. So it's
Yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah.
the world is barely replacing itself right now. It's
Yep. That's one thing I think Elon Musk got right, about the whole declining birth rates and, yeah, there's gotta be more babies, man. We need more Western babies.
really not having kids is basically saying that you have no faith in the future. I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
true.
it's the ultimate. Just it's really a way of just saying, you. And if you look at it, and the sad part is, 99% of people, that's the only worthwhile thing they really do with their lives.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah,
I mean, I look at some of these old photographs of my great grandparents, and I just realize I care about these photographs because I'm their descendant, and who else cares besides their descendants?
yeah. I mean,
I do want to ask, what do you think about what's happening elsewhere? I mean, Johannes Kaiser in Chile, and of course, Milei in Argentina. We
I
commented that last time. You've certainly been paying attention to it.
I think Millet is doing well. I think he had, some trouble with the dollar rate, lately, but I mean, I don't think this is gonna be that much of a big problem for him. I think he really set the base to really put things under control. I think Chile is spiraling a little out of control. I hope Kaiser really I hope Kaiser can get the power there, honestly, you know? I think there's a solution, for Chile. Chile's a powerhouse, you know? They really put their stuff together years ago with Pinochet, and, thanks to that, they have the stability and they're the powerhouse that they are now today, you know? And,
Yeah. Yeah. Having gone from Argentina to Chile, I've noticed there's just a lot more bigger cars out there. And if
mhm.
people have bigger cars, that means they probably got more money.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's a different scale from Bolivia. I mean, Chile is like, it's a different level in economy and everything, you know?
Yeah, and things seem a little more modern here. Argentina has those amazing buildings, but you can also tell there's so much Victorian architecture. And of course, the thing about Bolivia is Bolivia has no good old days to look back to. It's always been this way.
Yeah, and basically, yeah, it's always been pretty hectic, honestly, yeah. We're kinda used to that, you know?
I suppose you do get used to it or get resigned to it. I mean, it's a it'll be interesting to see what happens there, though. I just the whole. By the way, is Anya's in jail too? I hear she is.
Yeah, she
Jenny,
is.
what's
She's
she
still
in
in
jail
jail.
for?
She's in jail because of the, supposedly they tried to overthrow the government. It was the golpe de estado. It's the for trying to overthrow the government of Evo Morales, basically. That's what she's being
Yeah.
accused of.
So yeah, so well, yeah. There's always a risk. You either become the president or you go to jail sometimes. There's not really an in between. So
Yeah, 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 I mean, and,
some people who are presidents were once in jail. So
exactly, yeah, 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 exactly.
Hitler was once in jail. Nelson Mandela was in jail, and it's so it
Yeah,
is.
exactly, yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's really, and sometimes in Latin America, you end up in A lot of Peruvian presidents have ended up in jail too, so it's
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But let's hope the same thing happens to Evo Morales.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. I just hope the whole Sao Paulo forum just collapses because there's so much, there's a lot going on down here, and they're all working together, all these.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's exactly what I thought. I think that what happened here in the elections is totally I mean, it was a higher up call, you know, it was a higher up order. And to get this going, I mean, that was a higher up, Foro de Sao Paulo organization mandate that got these votes, switched to Paz. I am certain about that.
Yes, the Sao Paulo forum, Foro de Sao Paulo,
Exactly, yeah.
the forum of Bolivia. They no longer have a doesn't oh, as main opposition, yes, in Argentina, they're the just Justicialist Party or the Union for the Homeland or the Unión por la Patria. Yes,
Exactly, yeah.
they're not in charge. You've got some of these other people like Petro in Bolivia, Boric in Chile, and I think Boric is going to get out.
But Boric is out. I think he's definitely out, dude. It all depends who comes in. It's like this is what I'm saying. Imagine people celebrated Boric coming out, and then a centralist left wing guy comes in, and people celebrate that. I mean, do you understand what's going on here? It's the same thing.
It's happened like this in America plenty of times, no doubt about that.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Then we have Johannes Kaiser, who is running for president of on the National Libertarian Party. Yes,
But let's hope that movement catches on, and hopefully some good libertarians get to power. You know,
yeah, and the Kaiser family is actually very prominent in Chilean politics. I didn't realize that, but
they're pretty powerful, right?
yeah, well, they're pretty well known. I mean, they've certainly been a part of the situation there. It's a
Yeah, definitely.
there's a lot of these. It's a lot of interesting. Have these government families that have been or people have been part of the family, and uh, from what I hear, Cost might be Johan Jose Cost might be the next president of Chile again, which eh,
Yeah. Jose Cast is. I like Cast honestly.
I think the one thing about Milei too is some of these people who are right wingers might be more daring in what they do because wingers have generally been chicken shits. And then they don't want, and they're afraid to try to do anything. But then they see Milei out there doing all this stuff. Say, "Hey, I need to be more like Milei. I need to have some courage, and I need to really take on the bad guys and call the bad guys out on
Yeah,
what they are."
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Milei will openly say, "Well, why do you favor socialism, which killed 150 million people?" Well, we need more of them saying that. They
exactly.
all need to
Yeah,
say that. Yeah, you support this ideology that killed 150 million people. It's like, and I really, there is no excuse for being a socialist nowadays. There just isn't. I mean,
there isn't, dude. There isn't at all.
you're stupid. You're either stupid or you hate humanity. There's
It's like that famous phrase. You know, you heard that one. I'm sure you heard it. Is that you can't be a good person, a socialist, and what was it? You can't be good.
I believe Churchill said something to the effect of, "If you're not a socialist at 20, you have no heart, but if you're still a socialist at 30, you have no brain,"
Yeah,
which
yeah. But
I disagree with.
no, there's another famous phrase. It was you can't be a socialist. You can't be good. You can't be a socialist, and you can't be smart at the same time. So if you're
Yes,
smart and you're what was this? If you're socialist, good and smart. If you're good and smart, you're not a socialist. If you're a socialist and and you're good, you have no brain. But if you're a socialist and you do have a brain, you just cannot be a good person. You know.
yes.
So yeah,
Yeah. What city was Santa Cruz de la Sierra? That seems to be a big city in Bolivia. We don't
that's
hear.
yeah, that's probably the biggest city right now in Bolivia. That's like
Well,
over on the east.
It's also one city that actually has some direct flights from the US too, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind of like that's become the new hub in Bolivia because Santa Cruz is really booming. It's a beautiful city. It's warm weather. It's not high in altitude. It's definitely like one of the city that most advanced, the most like kind of like the city that grew the most in the couple last few years,
well, I just
the
wonder
last
sometimes,
decade.
maybe some people just can't stand the high altitude, and that's why they go there. I mean, it's so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's better for the health. You feel better there. You breathe better. Um, yeah, there's
oh, yeah.
prettier girls there. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, you always talk about that. Yeah, South America, yeah, they're always South American women are great everywhere. It's, pretty much the truth, yeah, yeah, Bolivia, and I guess there's a lot of the Atacama Desert is in the Southwest, right? That's where a lot of the mining is you talked about, because
that's Chile. Yeah.
yeah, well, if you might remember, one of the 33 was a Bolivian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when they had the mining the the Copiapo mining
Uh-huh.
disaster. They were
Yeah, I think there was. Yeah, I think there was. Yeah,
where
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
they were trapped underground for 2 months in a large copper mine. One of them
Exactly.
was
Yeah.
there were 32 Chileans and 1 Bolivian. Of course, it all had a happy ending. They all got out
Uh-huh.
alive, but
And
they were stuck
Pinera,
underground for 2 months.
yeah, yeah, and Pinera went to get them all out at the last day. Remember?
That was pretty wild, that was one of those one thing is sometimes an event like that can really unify people, though. It's like, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
everybody in the whole country is, "Get them out. Do whatever you have to do. Just get them out." But, we
Exactly.
can't
Yeah,
get them
yeah,
out.
yeah,
And they weren't you'd be hot underground like that, it'd probably drive you nuts, but I think I think they were in a very large area, so they could at least walk around and move around, but you can imagine too, you have to
yeah.
eat food, you have to pee and stuff, and they eventually got hole dug so they could speak to them and send them down tubes. Then they had to the drilling was just amazing too. They had to use these drills,
True, true.
go through this massive rock, and uh, in America, the safety standards are a lot higher up here. They don't really have this, but just yeah, there's a lot of. I had a great uncle back in the 30s who died in a coal mining accident. So I think I probably have a little more reason why I pay more attention to stuff like this.
True, true.
Yeah, he got killed and left 6 orphans, and my grandmother took some of them in,
Mm.
uh, yeah yeah, with so many things done by machinery, a lot of these really dangerous jobs have just been they're not there anymore.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that's something we're gonna be talking about a lot in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens to some of these, but still copper and zinc and some of these other things are useful, and people need them, and there's money for them, so there's money to be made going to mine
Yeah,
them and
definitely,
get them out
definitely.
of the
But
ground.
that's never gonna stop. That's something that's gonna be really. I mean, you're talking about natural resources. Things are always
You
gonna
just
get
you
produced,
take
and
and you don't wanna harvest, you don't wanna go out and dig this stuff in a way that's so disruptive. I mean, sometimes they're just cutting off mountaintops. Yeah, even in West Virginia, they hate that, and
mm, yeah,
they used to go in and mine, a guy would just take a shovel and a pickaxe and go underground, and they'd mine coal that way. It was
mhm.
and there was one accident that killed 360 people. Just but,
And they would die by age 30 or 35.
oh, yeah, and they'd have kids in there too in some cases.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of child labor laws, but I really don't want kids going into coal mines.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Certainly, I have no problem with kids, like, doing office jobs or, going to the copier and making copies or making coffee in the office. I think that'd be great for kids.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely, man. Yeah,
And
start getting some experience.
and this is the thing, about a place like Bolivia, you probably got a lot of kids who are starting to do real jobs at 12 and 13, you know?
They don't let them because of child labor laws. I
They
mean,
don't?
this
Okay.
is an example of how this is one of those like famous like what do you call these unpopular opinions? Like,
You know, you still well, one thing is you always got kids working on the farm at that age. I mean, farm
exactly, yeah, yeah,
and going out and, doing that kind of stuff for kids hunting. I mean,
yeah.
I hear stuff, kids like, Mexican. Well, I was 10 years old when I started working on roofs, it's just and they end up, suddenly being way ahead of their peers because they've had because they got started younger and they have more experience.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what's gonna I hope it works out for Bolivia, but it's and works out for South America, but,
We'll see, man.
the socialists are always they it's real they always rebrand themselves and regroup and try other things to do, though. They don't give up easily, and, I saw the Berlin Wall fall, and we're still fighting them now, so it's not a fun thing to talk about, but it's there.
It's always there, man. They're always there, and that's why, the whole Ben Franklin quote is, "The price of liberty is continuous vigilance," something like that?
Eternal vigilance, yes,
Eternal vigilance, yeah, exactly.
yeah, there's a lot of things have been said, yeah, well, yeah, I don't know if anybody ever else has commented on this election, but it's not over yet, so who knows?
It
I
it's
wonder if
gonna be
Milei will be at I wonder if Milei will be at this inauguration, whoever winds up winning,
dude, I don't know, man. I don't even worry about those things. It's kinda depressing to
yeah.
know the truth, and other people are kinda naive in celebrating this, so, I mean, it's kinda like the curse, like, ignorance is bliss, you know?
Sometimes, yes, sometimes ignorance is bliss. It'd be nice if we knew other things like that. Just uh, watching, but then once you go down the rabbit hole, you can't really get out.
You can't go back, man.
Once
It's
you get
off.
started of it's
I agree.
well. I hope I can make it to those little countries next time I come to South America. It seems like I've been to quite. South America is just as wonderful. It's
You gotta come to Bolivia, Chris. We'll
yeah,
be waiting
well,
for you. We'll be waiting for you here
yeah, Bolivia, Paraguay. I mean,
with a couple beers and an oxygen tank.
yeah, you give me an oxygen tank. Yeah, that'll be. Yeah, I'd like to see Lake Titicaca. I mean, it certainly sounds like it's worth visiting. I know there's the salt flats and a few other things that are worth seeing. It's
Definitely, definitely, definitely worth seeing, dude.
why did
Definitely.
people initially settle in Bolivia anyway? What made them go there?
Well, my parents were Bolivian, so I didn't have much
No,
of a choice.
but I mean, when these cities were founded, I mean, probably back in what, 16 or
Um,
1600s? I mean,
I think it was the whole mining thing. It was a lot of mining in Potosi. Potosi was like the richest city in the world back then. It was like kind of like Paris. It was
oh,
Paris back
wow.
then. And I guess natural resources, strategic locations, stuff like that.
But Bolivia lost its coastline in a war against Chile too, though, so
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know how that's impacted things, but it's probably
It's
not
made, it's made stuff a little bit more expensive to import, but that's about it. I mean, it's like if we had a beach, would we take care of it? I'm not sure.
yeah, well, you don't hear that many people going to the Pacific beaches in South America anyway there, because sometimes you got mountains right on the edge of the beach.
Yeah, they're cold. They're cold. There's a lot of mountains. I mean, it's not like the postcard beaches you see.
Yeah, you have a lot of cliffs and but the Andes are just so amazing. They're kind of a miracle of, nature. It's the way they're popped up and they're and, I when I was in Mendoza, I saw Aconcagua from the road, and it said, "This is the highest mountain in the world outside of
Yeah.
Asia." There's some really high mountains.
Hmm.
They are
Yeah.
lovely. Well, Marcus, where can we find you out there?
Hey, Chris, you can find me you could I would recommend just finding a political group. It's called Avanza Libertad Bolivia.
Avanza
And
Libertad. Yeah, yes.
yeah, and basically, yeah, that's kind of where we post all our opinions on, and you'll find my opinions there, and a lot of other people's there who are very libertarian, very classical liberals. So you know, you can find us there, and all the social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So yeah.
Yes, you got and yeah, it's a nice library out there. And yeah, and well, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, go buy my novel, Escape from the Village, or please like this on your podcast apps. And uh, you can you can go to buy me a coffee to support the channel, and you can check out my Substack, which occasionally gets updated. Thank you, Marcos Quevedo, for talking about Bolivia. I'm Chris Baker. We're out. Buy my novel, Escape from the Village, from major booksellers online. Go to escapevillage.com. Subscribe to the Substack. Go to fountainheadforum.substack.com. Support the forum. Go to buymeacoffee.com/fountainheadforum. Thank you.